Hello everyone, we're back with the Royals franchise. In our last episode, we were able to get all the way through the offseason and spring training, so in today's episode we could jump right into year number 2, taking on the Detroit Tigers on opening day. Getting the opening day start for us is Jack Flaherty. He was one of our big signings that we made this last offseason, and it's looking good so far. He is getting a strikeout there to end the second inning. Top 3 still 0-0. Another one of our big signings in Matt Chapman is going to deliver an RBI single down the third base line for his first hit as a Royal, and he'll make it a 1-0 lead. Still 1-0 in the top of the 5th inning. Jock Peterson, he's going to club one out of here to right field, and he'll make it 2-0. That is his 199th home run of his career. Jack Flaherty cruising along in the 5th inning, and he's going to get another strikeout, this time on Max Muncy, who couldn't quite hold back his check swing. Top 7, Nick Madrigal, he'll hit one to right center, and it's going to fall in, and he's going to drive in a run of his own, and he'll make it 3-0 here in the 7th inning. Bottom 7, Jack Flaherty, as an 0-2 count on Eric Haas, and he's going to strike him out looking with the slider away. It would end today's game with 10 strikeouts in total, and Josh Hader would come in to close this one out. He would strike out the side, and we would go on to win on opening day over the Detroit Tigers with a final score of 3-0. The pitching staff was excellent in today's game, and the lineup, they did enough. They could have walked a bit more, and we could have scored a couple more runs, but we do end up winning on opening day, which is always a good thing. It's been a great start to the year for us. We are currently sitting at 6-1, but let's jump down to AA, where they are not only opening up a brand new season, they are also opening up a brand new stadium that I have gone ahead and made in Stadium Creator. It is also an opportunity for us to check out all of our top prospects that are currently at AA, including Daryl Ciccone, the first-round pick from last year, and also our top pitching prospect in our system. He is going to work himself out of a jam by getting a strikeouts and a ground out, but he puts himself right back in a jam in the top of the 3rd, and this time he is going to end up giving up a run, but he would at least limit the damage and only give up that 1 run in the 3rd inning. Bottom 3, Edmundo Vasquez, another one of our top prospects. He's going to tie this game right back up at 1 with an RBI single over the third baseman's head. In the same inning, Joshua Baez up at the plate. He's going to ground one up the middle. It is dove on and missed by the shortstop. So it's going to be an RBI single from Joshua Baez, giving the Naturals a 2-1 lead. Top 4, another 2 runners on against Dale Ciccone. This time he gives up some solid contact in the air, and it is going to leave the yard, barely staying fair. It'll be a 3-run homer for the number 9 hitter for the Tulsa Drillers, and we are down again in this game, now 4-2. Ryan Parra, the number 2 prospect in our system, hit one hard to right field. It barely misses getting out of here, hitting high off the big wall out in right field, but it is a stand-up double. Unfortunately, he is not going to come around to score. Austin Charles just chops it right back to the pitcher. Top 7, Jack Mejia, in a bit of a jam. He has entered the game out of the pen to try and get us out of that jam, and he gets a big strikeout for out number 2. Can he get another strikeout? He can. He'll work himself out of the jam and keep it 5-2. In the bottom of the 8th, Brian Parra up again. He'll ground one down the first base line, and it's going to get by the first baseman for a 1-out single. A full count to Austin Charles, and Parra will take off on the pitch, and it's going to be a hit and run. Austin Charles hitting into the right center gap. It's going to roll all the way to the wall, allowing Brian Parra to come around and score easy, and he'll make it 5-3, but unfortunately, we are going to go on to lose on opening day, and we will lose the first game in the brand new stadium 5-3. And overall, not too great game by Dale Ciccone, but at least Jack Mejia looked great. He struck out 4 in an inning and 2/3. And the lineup, they put together a couple of hits, but we were not able to get enough hits and enough runs to end up winning this game. We are midway through the month of April, currently sitting in first place in the division, but we do have to make some moves. One of those is because Connor Joe is injured. He is going to be out 1 to 2 weeks with a finger contusion, so while he is out, we will call up Christian Pache, and as soon as Connor Joe is able to return, then we will option Christian Pache right back down to AAA. Speaking of optioning down to AAA, that is what we're going to do with Ken Giles. He has been awful to begin the year, a 9.45 ERA, a 1.65 whip. and he's given up a couple of home runs, so he's going to go down to AAA, and we will call up Josh Domont, who has a couple of saves and has a 1.13 ERA and the exact same number as his whip. Hopefully he can keep those numbers up for us at the big league level. We have also suffered another injury a little bit later in the month of April. It is to MJ Melendez, and he is going to be out 1 to 2 months with a forearm fracture. So while he is out, we are going to call up Riley Adams, who has been destroying the ball at AAA, a 350 average, a 918 OPS. Hopefully those numbers can happen for us with the Royals. And we are also going to be making a trade for another catcher, just in case something happens to Riley Adams or to Salvador Perez. We are going to acquire Zach Collins from the Cleveland Guardians. He will be at AAA for us, and the only thing that we have to give up is Clay Dungan. He is a utility infielder, so not really a big trade for either team, but just something that we kind of needed to do. At the end of the month of April, we are now in second place in the division, and we have some more moves to make. Trevor Rosenthal, he is going to be optioned down to AAA. He was able to pick up his 500th strikeout of his career, but he just wasn't doing too well, so he goes down to AAA, and we will call up Dylan Coleman, who was pitching pretty well at AAA. We are also going to option Nick Prado down to AAA. He was hitting just 150 with a 514 OPS in 40 at-bats in the month of April, so he goes down to the minor leagues, and up comes Seth Beer, who is hitting 274 with a 739 OPS and a couple of home runs. He is pretty much a 1-to-1 replacement for Nick Prado, and we're also going to be making another trade, this time sending away Kyle Isbell, who just has not been able to hit the ball well enough for me to justify keeping him on our big league club. So instead of sending him down to AAA, we will trade him away to the Giants. We're going to be getting a good player in Dallas Davis, who is only a 56 overall and is listed as a third baseman right now, but we'll move him to second base and put him at AA and see how he does there for at least the first little bit of the season. And we are also going to be calling up Tristan Peters, the 23-year-old that we got in a trade last year from the Rays. Has been hitting the ball pretty well at AAA, maybe not elite numbers, but I thought now was the right time to give him a chance at the big league level and let him make his big league debut. Here is a look at some stats from the month of April. You can see that Bobby Witt Jr. is really struggling, hitting under 200 on the season, and he is probably going to move out of that leadoff spots if he continues to hit as poor as he has. At least the pitching staff has been pretty good. The rotation's been really good, and so is the bullpen, besides the two guys that we did end up optioning down to AAA. But let's go ahead and jump into this second month of the season. Tristan Peters had a great MLB debut. He went 4 for 5 with an RBI, a double, a couple of stolen bases, and we will get a chance to look at him in the game that we are about to watch. It is against the Chicago White Sox, who we are battling for first place in the division, at least here in the early going. Asa Lacy on the mound for us in this game. He's going to give a deep fly ball to center field, and Connor Joe will get behind it and make the catch, but it's going to be easily deep enough to drive in a run. It'll be a sac fly, making it 1-0. Tristan Peters is going to ground one between the first and second baseman, and Bobby Witt Jr. is going to round third and head for home, and he will slide in safe. It'll be an RBI single from Tristan Peters, tying us up at 1. Jake McCarthy is going to get underneath of this one, hitting it to left field, and it's going to barely land fair. It's going to drive in 1 run. It'll be an RBI double, making it 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Vinny Pasquantino is going to destroy one to right center field. It's back at the wall, and it's going to leave the yard. It'll be a 2-run homer for Vinny Pasquantino, his 7th of the season, and it's going to make this a tie game again at 3. Dylan Coleman out of the bullpen with a couple of runners on is going to give a hard hit single to right field. It's going to end up driving in a run, giving the White Sox the lead, and they would go on to win this one 4-3 with Dylan Coleman taking the loss. So we do end up winning the series, but we end up losing game 2 of this series. Asa Lacy wasn't too bad in this game, but unfortunately the bullpen just couldn't quite hold it down, and the lineup they just didn't exactly do enough, only getting 3 runs on 5 hits. Not enough to win you every ball game, especially this one. So Dylan Coleman, he is actually going to be optioned right back down to AAA. He was abysmal not only in that game, but in pretty much every game that we put him out there in. And the player that we are going to call up is Danny Meredith, who was destroying AAA. 1.41 whip, a 2.76 ERA, 14 strikeouts. So he's going to get a chance to make his big league debut. At the end of the month of May, we are now in third place in the division, so not exactly doing the greatest anymore, but we at least have some positive things to talk about, like Nick Prado, who's hitting close to 300 down at AAA with a 973 OPS, and also Bob Clausen. He is shoving at AAA, 22 saves in 22 chances, a sub .5 ERA, a .6 whip. I mean, my goodness, he has been incredible. And how about Dallas Davis? 7 home runs in 90 at-bats, a 281 average, and 870 OPS. He has been incredible. So is Manuel Aquino, one of our draft picks from last year. He's got a 1.44 ERA and a 1.08 whip. So hopefully all those guys in the minor leagues can keep up the great play. We do have some guys that are really struggling for us at the big league level, and unfortunately, one of them is Jock Peterson. He is hitting 166 so far. He has been abysmal, and so have Nicky Lopez and Nick Madrigal. They're both hitting right around 215. All three of those guys need to get things turned around, or we're going to have to make some changes at those positions. Tristan Peters, he has at least been pretty good, hitting over 300 in his first career 99 at-bats. We'll see if he's able to keep up the good play over a bigger sample size. Let's go ahead and make another trade. We're going to be sending away Ken Giles and Greg Jones. Greg Jones, he was actually supposed to be the better part of the trade that we made with the Rays last year. Instead, that has been Tristan Peters, which kind of surprised me, but I guess we'll take it. We are going to be trading away, though, both of those guys to the San Diego Padres, and in return, we're going to get back Ryan Weathers, a former first-round pick who has an over 5 ERA at AAA this year for the Padres. We'll see if Ryan Weathers can get things figured out with us at AAA. We are going to call up utility man Samad Taylor. The 25-year-old has had a very good year at AAA, and I thought, why not give him a chance to make his big league debut, and he's probably going to be better than Nate Eaton, at least with the bat. I mean, Nate Eaton hitting just 215 in his career, just a 222 hitter, so we end up swapping those two out, and we have also signed Logan Davidson to a minor league contract. He will be at AAA for now, and we'll see what he does down there. We are right now sitting in first place in the AL Central on June 10th at 35-31, and are currently on a 5-game win streak with series wins over the Yankees, White Sox, and Rays, so things are looking pretty good for us, but we are still going to be making some more roster moves. We're going to option Jonathan Bullins out to AAA. He was our long relief pitcher, but unfortunately just wasn't doing too well there, so Dan Harrington, he is going to be called up, the 25-year-old knuckleball pitcher. He is actually going to be placed in the rotation as our number 5 starter. And the guy that is going to be moved to the bullpen is Kenta Maeda. He was actually in the bullpen all of last year for the Twins, so we're going to be putting him in the bullpen as well and see how he does in that role. Dan Harrington making his major league debut, and he's going to throw a nasty knuckleball in there for strike 3 for his first major league strikeout, hopefully the first of many to come. Seth Beer in the bottom of the first with a runner on first is going to go big fly to right field. It's going to be a no-doubt 2-run shot by Seth Beer, the 4th beer bomb of the year by Seth Beer, and it's going to give Dan Harrington a bit of room to work with. 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Vinny Pasquantino is going to hit a soft line drive to center field, and it's going to fall in and drive in the runner from second base, and he'll make it 3-0. Still in the bottom of the 4th inning, Salvador Perez up, and he's going to hit a soft line drive to center field as well. That will fall in as well. So another kind of lucky break for the Royals, or just a well-placed ball, and it's going to drive in another run. Seth Beer is going to go big fly again. It's going to be another beer bomb. This one to right center field, his second of the game, and it's going to blow the game wide open, making it 7-0. And we are actually going to go on to win this one pretty easily, winning 11-3. The lineup was able to put together 21 hits and really allowed Dan Harrington to not work very hard in this game. He did end up going 6 innings and getting the quality start, only giving up 2 runs and striking out 3 guys, so a pretty good job by Dan Harrington. But obviously the lineup did a lot of the heavy lifting in this game and allowed us to win 11-3. After the game, I saw that Adbert Alzolay had been placed on waivers by the Cubs for some reason. He's got a high overall, good potential, has options left, and has good stats at AAA, so I don't know why they did it, but they did place him on waivers, and we did end up claiming him. He is going to be at AAA for now for us, but don't be surprised if he is up on the Royals before you know it. MJ Melendez has returned from his injury, which is good news, but the bad news is that Riley Adams, he was playing pretty well, so I feel bad about it. but we are going to be optioning him back down to AAA. If we do have another injury, he could come right back up, though, if that ends up happening. Obviously, we don't want that to happen, but at least it's good knowing that he played well. It's time to talk about the draft, where we will have the #1 overall pick in the draft after winning the draft lottery somehow. So right now I have it narrowed down to 2 guys that I'm trying to decide between on which one to take with the #1 overall pick. Alec Franco and Eric Snyder are the 2 options. They are both shortstops, both at 18 years old, but are both different players. Eric Snyder is a bit more of a power hitter. He's got better fielding and better speed as well. Alec Franco, more of a contact and on base type of guy. So, I mean, it's really which kind of player do you want, but I'm leaning towards Eric Snyder because he looks like he's going to have a higher overall from day one. And they both are probably going to have similar potential, so we're leaning towards taking Eric Snyder, but I'm not quite exactly 100% decided, so that may end up changing. I guess we'll see. My favorite starting pitcher in this draft class is Thomas Kurtz. The potential range is pretty good. I mean, 85 to 95, that is well above average no matter what. And he's got pretty decent ratings, maybe not the best strikeout pitcher. He does only throw 3 pitches, but you know the potential is going to be pretty high. Michael Chen is another starting pitcher that I do have some interest in taking in the middle rounds. Maybe he could be there. Maybe Thomas Kurtz is there. We are going to end up probably taking at least one of those 2 guys. He does throw more pitches than Thomas Kurtz, but Thomas Kurtz has the potential range a bit more narrowed, so we know he's going to have pretty good potential, whereas you could see a bad potential for Michael Chen. Gene Folk is the #3 player on our draft board. He is a relief pitcher at 6'5", good ratings. It looks like maybe not elite ratings, but pretty good across the board. He does throw 4 pitches as a pretty good looking curveball, and he's projected to go in the middle rounds, so he's somebody that we are going to look at drafting and will end up drafting more than likely. And Mario Soriano is another guy just like that. He is somehow not ranked on the overall draft board, but you look at his ratings, you look at the pitches he throws, he looks like he's going to be an elite prospect from day one. In the second round, there are a couple of options that I would like to see fall there. Thomas Stroud, he is the top option in the second round if he is available there. He's draft rank 6 on our big board, has good contact, good vision, good discipline. The speed is also looking like it's going to be pretty good. The other guy I would like to see available in the second round, especially if Thomas Stroud is gone, is Michael Hernandez, a center fielder out of Maryland. The potential, maybe not elite, but he's going to have a pretty decent overall. And the ratings are looking like they're all going to be pretty good across the board. In the later rounds, there are a couple of options that I would like to take. Josh McManus is the top option. Good contact, good vision, good discipline. The speed, not too bad. And he is draft rank 66 on our board, projected to go right around the 100th pick. Ralph Lopez, he's projected to go a bit later than that, so we may end up being able to get both of these guys, but if I had to pick, I would probably like to get Josh McManus. It's just a matter of if we're able to get all the other guys first, and then we would try to take these other guys after all those top guys I talked about before. But yeah, that's going to be all for today's episode. In the next episode, we will get through the draft. We will also get through the trade deadline. I don't know if we're going to be buyers or sellers yet. It's looking like we're going to be buyers, but who knows? And after that, we will check out the draft picks that we did end up making. But thanks for watching this one, and I will see you in the next one.